Hello everyone, welcome to UN Digital class. So in today class of data science, we will discuss about the programming language by using which we can implement the concept of data science, and that programming is called as R programming. We have already discussed about different software tools to implement the data science, and within that we have discussed about version control system. Within that we have discussed about the GIT and then markdown. So here is another tool, or you can say the R programming is another tool by using which we can enhance the data science applications, or we implement the applications of data science. Okay. So let us go to the slides. So first let us see what do you mean by R programming. So R is a programming language, and also it is one type of software environment for statistical analysis, and it is also supports the graphical representations and also the reporting concept. That means, as we have discussed that the data science is the combination of different areas concept like statistics, then our mathematical backgrounds, okay, and many more like our visualization. So we are having a programming language which is called as R, and it provides an environment in which we can perform different types of statistical analysis, okay, and also it notates that analysis through the graphical representation and also the reporting concept. And that R programming was created by Ross Seca and Robert Gentleman at the University of Auckland, which is placed in the New Zealand and is currently developed by the R development core team. So the core of R is an interpreted computer language which always used to implement this analysis, and it also allows the branching and looping as well as modular programming using functions. That means, as same with the other programming language like C, C++, Java, or any programming language where we are using the branching statements and also the control statements, so you can say the looping as well, and also we use the modular concept, that is our concept of functions. So R programming also supports all these things as we have used this in other programming language. So this R programming allows integration with the procedures written in the C, C++, .NET, Python or Fortran languages for efficiency. That means, to do the work or to run or to enhance the software environment in an efficient way, it integrates some other languages with it like our C, C++, .NET, Python, etc. Then R is freely available under GNU General Public License and are pre-compiled binary versions that are provided for various operating systems like Linux, Windows and Mac. That means, it is freely available. That means, when we are implementing or when we are installing this R programming, we do not have to pay anything. So we can easily download this over the internet, and then it is compatible with Linux, Windows as well as in the Mac operating system. Then R is free software and it is distributed under the GNU style copy Lect and an official part of the GNU project called as GNU-S. So it is a free software, and then let us see how the R programming is enhanced, okay, or you can say the evolution of the R. So first, the R programming is written by the Ross Seca and Robert Gentleman, these two scientists, and at the Department of Statistics of University of Auckland in Auckland, which is placed in New Zealand, and R made its first appearance in 1993. So it is a recent language, okay, and a large group of individuals has contributed to R by sending code and also the bug reports. And then since mid 1997, there has been a core group which is called as the R core team, who modifies the R source code, okay, and this core team enhances whatever the source code written in previously by these two scientists. Okay, it enhances the R programming concept. Then let us see what are the features of the R programming. I started earlier that R is a programming language and software environment for statistical analysis and graphics representation and reporting, and the following are some important features of R. So, first feature of R is it is well developed as well as simple, and also it is effective programming language which includes conditional statements, different types of loops like we are using for loop, do while, okay, and then user defined recursive functions and some user defined functions and input and output facilities also. And then next feature of R is it is an effective data handling and storage facility. Okay, that means this programming have effective data handling capacity and also it facilitates the storage. Then R provides a suite of operators for calculation on arrays, list, vector and matrices. That means R consists of different types of operators which is called as a suite of operators, or you can say the combination of different types of operators, and by using that operators different types of operations are possible on the arrays, list, vectors or matrices. And next feature of R is it provides a large, coherent and integrated collection of tools for data analysis. Okay. And the next feature is R provides graphical facilities for data analysis and display either directly at the computer or printing at the papers. That means the R programming, it supports both the format, that means either on the computer monitor it will display the analysis of data, and or it also supports the printing of the papers, whatever the result it is produced. Then as the conclusion, R is the world's most widely used statistics programming language. So basically this programming language is used for statistical analysis, or you can say in the field of statistics this is widely used. Then let us see how we will set up the environment for this R programming, or when we want to write some R programming, then how we will set up this environment. So let us see the environment setup for the Windows. Then you can download the Windows installer version of R from R 3.2.2 for Windows. It is supports both the Windows format, that is whether it is 32-bit or 64-bit, and save it in a local directory. And as it is a Windows installer, then its extension is .exe with a name R version win.exe. So you can just double click and run the installer accepting the default setting. That means after downloading you will get this executable file. Then after getting this file you have to just double click on this file, then you will get a window which is which contains the steps for installing the software. And after running the installer accepting the default settings, so there are some default settings like our path to store this .exe file, or whether you have to set a desktop shortcuts for this programming with an icon or not. So there are some default settings which you have to accept, and if your Windows is 32-bit version, it installs the 32-bit version, but if your Windows is 64-bit, then it installs both the 32-bit and also as well as the 64-bit versions. Then after installation you can locate the icon to run the program in a directory structure. Okay. Then R, the structure is our R, and within that there is another file called as R 3.2.2, and within that there is a bin folder, and again within that there is a folder called as I386, and in this folder we are having our application file, that is in the extension with rgui.exe. So under the Windows program files, that means in the hard disk or in the default directory there is a file called as program files, and within that program file we are having a file called as R, and this is the path to go to this executable file. And then clicking this icon brings up the R GUI, which is the R console to do the R programming. Okay. Then next we will see what is the basic syntax of writing the R programming. So, as a convention, we will start learning R programming by writing a hello world program first, and then depending on the needs, you can program either at R command prompt, or you can use an R script file to write your program. Okay. That means when we are writing a program, we can use two ways. That means first way is our by using R command prompt, and next concept is our R script file. Okay. That means by using these two concepts, we can write our R program. Then we will check it by one. Then first we will discuss about the R command prompt. So, once you have R environment set up, then it is easy to start your R command prompt by just typing the following command at your command prompt. That means first you have to go to the Windows, and within that we have to search for the command prompt, or you can easily type CMD. Okay, then you will get a command prompt of your system. Then within that command prompt you have to type that $sign with R, and when you will press the enter button, then it will launch the R interpreter, and then you will get a prompt like this arrow mark. Okay, and then where you can start typing your program as follows. That means after clicking or after entering the command prompt $R, then you will get into the Windows, and in which we can write your R programming code. And here my string, then hello world within double quote, then print my string. That means it is a string variable my string which holds this value hello world, and then we have to print this my string variable. That means whatever the content is loaded in this variable, we have to display by using the print function. So, here first statement defines a string variable my string. You can also change this variable name. It is not mandatory that you have to write only my string. Okay, or you have to remind that whatever name you will give to this variable, and you have to provide this as an argument here. So, where we assign a string hello world, and then next statement print is being used to print the value stored in variable my string. Okay. So, this is the format of writing the R programming code, and it is a basic syntax, and this is by using the command prompt. Then let us see how we will write the R programming code when we are using the R script file. So, usually you will do your programming by writing your programs in script files, and then you will execute those scripts at your command prompt, and with the help of R interpreter called as R script. So, let us start with writing following code in a text file called as test.r as under. This is my first program in R programming. So, my string hello world, then print my string. The concept is same, and then save the above code in the file called as test.r. That means first you have to write the program, and then after that you have to save that file name with some file name with the extension .r, and then execute it at Linux command prompt as given below. And also if you will execute that in the Windows, also you have to follow the same command prompt. And $R script test.r, that means this is the command prompt you have to write to run this. That means R script is our R interpreter, and then after calling the interpreter, it will execute the file, and you have to write down the file with the extension. Then when we run the above program, it produces the following result. That means this is the output of this program. So, you have to remember that first you have to write this text file, and then this text file you have to store with some file name, and the extension is our R. So, you have to remember that the file name of the R programming, where you have to store the, or you have to write the R programming code, the extension is our .r, and after saving this file, then you have to execute that file by using this format. First you have to call the R interpreter, then after that the R interpreter will execute the file. So, you have to write $sign, then R interpreter name, that is our R script. It is mandatory, that means, or you can say this is system defined, and you cannot change the name of the R interpreter, but you can change the file name. Okay. So, $R script, then space, then your file name .r, or you can say the file in which the R programming code is saved. And when you run the above program, then you will get the output. Then let us see how we will enter the comments in a R programming. So, comments are like helping text in your R program, and they are ignored by the interpreter while executing your actual program. So, single comment is written using hash function in the beginning of the statement as follows. So, basically why we are writing comments in the programming. So, when we will see that program after some days, then you can easily understand what is the purpose of writing that program. Or you can say there are some text which are not included as the code of the program, but it is written only you have to understand the program or the need of the program, or you can say the purpose of the program, or purpose of writing any syntax. Let us say you are writing a function, if you are executing a function, then you have to remember, when you want to understand what that function is written for, then you can mention a comment line there. And you have to remember that when we are writing the comment line, it is not executed by the interpreter, or you can say when the interpreter executes that program, it is not included inside that program, or the interpreter will not going to execute whatever text written within that comment line. So, the interpreter can easily ignore the comment line when it is executing the actual program. So, this is the format of writing a single line comment, and here we will see that R does not support multi-line comments, but you can perform a trick which is something as follows, by using which you can write multi-line comments. Okay. So, writing single line comments is very easy, only you have to provide hash symbol, and after that hash symbol, if you will write anything, then it will be considered as a comment line, and by using that hash symbol you can only enter a single line comment. And if you want to enter, or if you want to write multi-line comments, then you have to follow this trick. And what are these? If false, or you can say within the condition if, you have to give the condition as false. That means whenever it is false, this will be executed, and within this body you have to write your multi-line comments within the two double quotes. Okay. So, you have to write your multi-line comments in this format, if false. This is demo for multi-line comments, and it should be put inside either a single or double quote. Okay. That means here is our double quote, so you can also give here the single quotes also, but you have to write the multi-line comments inside this, because when we are writing if true, then the interpreter will execute this, but when we write if false, then interpreter will not go into this conditional statement, or it will not go inside the body to execute this. So, the interpreter can easily ignore this line of comments. Okay. Or you can say if we will enter these lines of code inside a program, when interpreter executes it if false, then automatically it will skip this, and then it will go to the next line, which is called as my string hello world, or you can write your program from here. Then here we have written my string hello world, then print my string. So, output is our hello world. So, through above comments will be executed by R interpreter and they will not interfere with your actual program, and you should put such comments inside either singular double quote. Okay. So, in R programming we can enter single line comment as well as multi-line comments. When we are entering the single line comments, you have to remember that by using this hash function then you can write, and if you want to write multiple lines within a comment, then you have to follow this. Actually R does not support multi-line comments, but by using this format you can easily enter or you can easily write the multi-line comments within the R programming, and you can enter the comment lines anywhere in the program, because this is not included as a lines of code inside a program, or it is not included as a part of a actual program, or the interpreter will not execute this line of codes. So, you can easily write the comment lines anywhere in the program. Okay. So, this is all about our R programming basic concept. From tomorrow onwards we will discuss about the data types, operators, or some extra concept about the R programming. So, in today's class we have discussed about the R programming basics and the features of R programming, and it supports the concept of branching, looping, everything, as well as the other programming languages, or you can say the R programming is efficient as it is integrated with some other languages which we are using nowadays like C, C++ like this. And this programming language is basically used to perform different analysis in a field of statistics. And if you want to install this programming language, then you have to go to the internet and you can search there R programming, and it is completely free, or you do not need to pay any cost when you are downloading that. And after downloading the executable file, you can install it by following some default setting formats, and then you can easily run your R programming. And when we are writing the R programming, there are two formats to write. One is by using command prompt, another one is by using the R script file. And in the command prompt you have to go to the Windows, and there you have to type CMD, and then you will get a command prompt, and there you have to run, or you have to, if you want to open the R window, then you have to type $R, and then after that you have to write the code. And then in the R script file, after writing the text file, you have to save that with a file name with the extension .r. Then you have to run that by using the command prompt, that is $, then R script, which is our R interpreter, and then our file name, and then you will get our output of the R programming. And in the R programming, we can also provide the comment lines by using the hash. If you want to provide single line comments, and if you want to provide multi-line comments, then you can follow the formats which I have given in the slides. And if you have any doubt regarding this, you can mention it in the comment box. Till then, keep watching. Thank you.